Hey guys, forgot to put this on. Mark Holmes here in Jobu's Man Cave workshop, mad as hell. Breaking news: Randy Gregory is suspended by the NFL indefinitely. Let me say that again. Randy Gregory suspended by the NFL indefinitely. Well, here's at least the good news on that. At least it happened now when you have time to adjust. Because now you look and say everything that you're doing is changed. So here's the thing. When you know that you got to take care of replacing a player now, before free agency, before the draft, then you've got time to adjust and get somebody in there, get them up to speed to doing what you need them to do. When it happens in August, you find out, or the first week of the season, and all of a sudden you don't have that guy, then you haven't made plans to replace that guy. So, if anything, if Randy Gregory was going to be suspended, this is the time to have it happen. You don't want it to happen. You do not want it to happen, but it happened. And better to happen now where you can plan against it. And that's the sad thing because this is shades of David Irving too. Because David Irving, I don't know what's wrong with that guy. I don't know when he got that concussion, if it just knocked something off. But if he thinks that he's going to be able to make as much money acting as he could on football field, unless this whole thing he's on right now is one big act, that he comes out as Shakespeare, my performance. That's right, I was playing character of a crackhead. Unless that's what he's doing to show us how good an actor he is, he ain't gonna make that much money in acting. So it just broke about 10 minutes ago. Randy Gregory. No, I'm not going to say it's cursed. I'm not going to say, Taylor, that the franchise is cursed because we've got 5 Super Bowl rings. We have won the division twice out of the last 3 years, and that's with Jason Garrett. Apparently, drugs. Now, what this does do, this now change. Understand, this is the best time this could happen. There's no good time. Understand, there's no good time. But this is the best time that it can happen for the reason of now you know what guys you got to hold on to. That now makes it, when you thought, if you were in there thinking, okay, Tyrone Crawford is getting a little older, maybe we look at replacing him because his salary cap number is high, or maybe we go to him and say, we want a discount. You can't do that now. You shorthanded. So that changes and says, okay, Tyrone Crawford is coming back. Okay. And that means you're going to need to go ahead and look at free agency or the draft for another guy. We were already in the need for a defensive tackle. We were already in the need for a big guy in the middle. So this kind of changes a little bit. So what this may end up meaning, here's the thing. You got to look at how the dominoes start falling. What this means is because the Cowboys were interested in this tight end from Texas A&M. They may have been thinking, let's go tight end with our first pick right there. What this means is you may need to look in free agency a little harder than you thought because either you get a safety like Earl Thomas that fills that up, and then you go for a tackle, or you maybe even look at Cincinnati's tight end that's brother-in-law to Zach Martin, and bringing him in. But now you have to use free agency more, and better to find this out today, now, 2 weeks before free agency, so you can start making plans for that. You get what I'm saying? Right. So that's what I'm saying. That this means that you either have to go in the draft or in free agency for pass rusher. And maybe what you do is you look at somebody like Sheldon Richardson or maybe Namin Sue, you bring in somebody big, then what that does is you've got now rotation of those guys. You got Tyrone Crawford on one side, and then you look in the draft to bring in somebody else. There's a lot of ways you can kind of work around this, but it's really a taco. This kind of gives an opening. I forgot about tacos. Damn it. Damn it. I can't have tortillas and chips, so I didn't think about taco. Shit. Namakin. Namakin Sue, okay? Namakin Sue. Listen, if you're coming in here for grammar, proper English, spelling, and correct name pronunciations, get out. Get out. That's not me, okay? I'm an idiot. I have dyslexia. I can't spell. I can't read really good. But what I can do is I can keep all this stuff in my head, stats, numbers. I can look at a wall and say, okay, look, you see these cabinets over here? You see all this? This will fit in on the wall. You know how much writing down there is on that? 0. It's all up here. So if you're going to bug me about how I pronounce Namakin, Nikike, who the hell knows, whatever it is, you know who I'm talking about, okay? But listen, you're always going to have guys that have problems. He could have been hurt the first game of the season. You would in the same boat. And that's why it's important. And this is where the NFL, you have to have a lot of luck to get to the Super Bowl. Because how much money we got, Mark? Listen, there's ways of getting money. Don't worry about the money. They can do anything they want to. Listen, if they want, right now they got $48 million. Okay, right? $48 million. Listen to me. 48. With one pen, one ink. Let's see. Okay, that's pencil. But with one ink pen, they can pull $10 million tomorrow off of Zach Martin's. Just by signing. Bam! Just like that. You know, they can go ahead and do something like, let's say, DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's say they sign him to a 5-year, $100 million contract. Okay? 5-year. Say they take $50 million and say that's guaranteed money, right? Divide that by 5, that's $10 million a year, right? You follow me now? So that means you got $50 million you have to pay out over the next 5 years. What you can do is say your salary for this year is $1 million. So that means your cap hit for this year is only $11 million. Bam, problem solved. You can take Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, you need $18 million a year? Okay, no problem. You can take that $13.9 million number he has right now, more guaranteed money, spread it out the length of the contract, pay him peanuts the first year. Bam, all of a sudden that $14 million that you were going to pay him, this year on the cap, it's only like 8. So then you create another $6 million. So there's ways of getting money if they want to do something. The problem is you got to cover all your bases. It's like being in the military fighting a war, okay? You can have a strong middle, but if your flanks are exposed, they're going to roll up on you. So you got to distribute your money with those players in just the right locations where you think you're going to get hit. You don't know where you're going to get hit. You didn't go into the season thinking that Zach Martin was going to mess up his knee. You didn't think that Travis Frederick was going to get hurt. So you only put so many resources there. You figured wide receiver is going to be the place. Robert Quinn, that's another. There's guys out there. And here's what you're going to have happen too. Because again, this was the right time for this to happen. Right now, the next week and a half, people are going to be gutting the teams. They're going to be trying to get cap space to go ahead and do the musical chair for players. So we're going to look at this guy and say, you know what? I see a guy in the combine that I think, we can get some talent to replace him for a lot cheaper. We can take a guy who's making $7-8 million. That's getting a little old, and we can find a rookie and pay him about $1 million and save some money. So you'll see some veterans. And it's indefinite suspension, which means until they decide to change it. There is no definite time, which means he probably failed a drug test or didn't show up for a drug test, which counts as a fail. And It means that the NFL, he's got to go through the process of being reinstated. This is Josh Gordon, who has been reinstated how many damn times? I'm not saying that he won't be able to get back in. You just don't know how long it's going to take. And considering that he had been suspended for a year, it may be another year before he gets back out on the field. So, the thing I said last year about Randy Gregory, damn. If we can just keep him on the field, it's a bonus. It's a win. I said anything above that was bonus, your house money. And you know what we were dealing with when he. I'm not sure you cut him loose because he did make a difference for those games he was there. And here's the thing: with him being cut, or excuse me, being suspended, that money's not on the roster. He's not getting paid. So it's creating some cap room. If it's a whole year, you've got his whole salary back in salary. So it doesn't cost you anything to hold on to a guy who's suspended. Understand that. If you're suspended, it's not costing you on the cap. While I'm sitting here talking, I need to glue this up real quick. So let me grab this. I hadn't planned on coming on right now because I was actually trying to get some stuff done, and I was going to live stream later on because of Stephen Jones basically speaking today. And when Stephen Jones speaks, you would want to listen. Stephen Jones basically saying, Jason Garrett, we love you, your family, but if you don't win this year, you're going to be replaced. He recognizes that the team is young and that your windows of opportunities when you're young don't last that long. So he put Jason Garrett on notice that it's nothing personal. We're trying to run a business here. And I'm so happy that he said we owe it to the fans. That's us. That's us. Stephen Jones cares about us and wants the team to be successful and to win. So I ain't mad at you, Stephen. In fact, I love you, dog. I love you, man. Put some more people on notice. Let everybody know it's about winning football. Dante Fowler, that's another one. Oh, Stephen A. Smith is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. They can't stay off the weed. You know that's coming. You know that's coming. But it's okay. Because we've seen a lot of other players that have had problems with some drugs, and nobody says jack. Oh, Becker Jr. Right? It's okay. What we need to do is we need to start getting that bunker mentality like New England. When bad things happen to us, just go out and win and piss everybody off. How about we do that? Let's win in spite of shit happening against us. How about that? Instead of saying, woe is me, we're doomed. How about we just go ahead and say, you know what? It's us against the world. And let's just go win the whole fucking thing. Trey Flowers, not a possibility. Taylor E, very cheap and injury prone. Well, sometimes you get lucky. You know, you never know. You can take a chance. Forgive me, I got some work. Got to pay the bills. I just wanted to bring. I hadn't planned on doing this for very long, but I just wanted to bring you this update. I literally just finished uploading about Stephen Jones talking about Jason Garrett. We love you, dog, but you got to win or else. Video, and I figured it'd be easier just to do this live because I gotta get this thing clamped up and glued for the night. And then what we'll do is I'm gonna do a live stream later on this afternoon. Get all the details from what Stephen Jones said and understand Stephen Jones is the guy you got to pay attention to. Oh, we can listen. We can still get. Don't worry. We can get guys. We can get people. That, like I said, it's not a matter of being able to. They can get anybody they want to if they want to. It's just a matter of working the numbers. The risk that you take. If you look at the Eagles right now, basically they bought a Super Bowl. They're paying for it now because they only have like $2 million in cap space because those bills are come due. But if you look at the team and say, you know what, Dak Prescott, we believe that the fourth year is going to be the year. Zeke Elliott, great running back. You know, we don't know how many good years you have of running backs because running backs hit the wall and fall off a cliff real quick. So you look at this and say maybe we got a 2, 3, 4 year window at most for Zeke Elliott, right? We got Amari Cooper right now who is balling out. He's ready to rock and roll. You don't know how long Tyrone Smith is going to be able to hold up. Maybe you can hold off for another year before you look at replacing him. And you get Travis Frederick back. You end up having Zach Martin with a healthy leg. And you look at this and say, you know what? We've got a lot of talent right now. We got a lot. Let's go ahead and try and get a little bit above board. Let's get a couple pieces to make sure that we've got some depth on this team and that we've got a few playmakers and try and make a run at this. I'm telling you right now, at this moment, when you look at the NFC, it's not like it was 2 years ago where you had so many teams where we were 9-7, and in most years, 9-7 the NFC gets you in the playoffs. We've seen the NFC as bad as 7-9 make the playoffs with the Carolina Panthers one year. 9-7 didn't make it because there were that many teams that were good. But as you look around the NFC right now, New Orleans is great this year, but you know Drew Brees is getting up there a little bit more. You know, they're going to have some changes and things with New Orleans. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not going to be really good because I do believe they can be really good. You look at Carolina. Cam Newton has got the shoulder injury. He may not even play next year. He might be like Andrew Luck. The Atlanta Falcons? Do you believe in the Atlanta Falcons? The Atlanta Falcons? Tampa Bay. You believe in Tampa Bay? The Giants? The Redskins. The Eagles? If Carson Wentz can stay upright. But they've got to get rid of people to try and sign some people. So they're not going to be able to add a whole lot of talent except through the draft. And as you go through, Minnesota, they got Kirk Cousins. We know about Kirk Cousins. We saw him all his career over here in Washington. Green Bay, new coach. Aaron Rodgers, the diva. Nobody likes him. The Bears, do you really believe that the Bears are going to be up there now, up where we belong every year? Or are they going to come back to earth? Lions. Arizona Cardinals. Rams, well, the Rams will still be good. Seattle will still be good. But there's no team, there's not one of those teams. Oh, San Francisco. Oh, yeah, Jimmy G. Ooh, that guy's going to be back. There's no team that you look at out there right now that you say, you can't beat that team to get to the Super Bowl. Patrick Peterson? No, I'm not sure I'd go after Patrick Peterson. Here's the thing. If it's me, if I'm the general manager and I am making the calls, the biggest bang for your buck, you guys have heard me say this a million times, the biggest bang for your buck is a pass rusher. Understand why. You can have a great cornerback, but if you don't have a pass rush and a quarterback has 7-8 seconds to throw, and you only have one good cornerback, he's going to find the other guys that are open, or that guy, you can't hold him up for that long. Okay? You can't. I'm sorry. You can have Dion in his prime, but if you've got no pass rush, it don't matter. A defensive pass rush. That's why the Giants won the Super Bowl. It wasn't Eli Manning, even though he'll probably go to the Hall of Fame. It wasn't. It was the defensive pass rush. And they had Jason Sehorn for a cornerback. But they had a beast pass rush. The quarterback had 1-2 seconds to throw, or they were out there like a bunch of crazed dog. If you can get a guy in the middle that can take up space, here's what happens. That one guy now demands double teams. You means you got 2 of the 11 guys have to worry about stopping him. And if we got 2 guys focused on that big ass in the middle, you're going to have to either put 2 men on DeMarcus Lawrence or single. You follow me now? Somebody's going to get loose. Even Tyrone Crawford on the outside is still pretty good. As long as you have somebody in the middle, it stops them from being able to run on you. And here's what else it does. If you got 2 men, a guard and a center, having to worry about stopping this guy from getting upfield in the quarterback's face, then the guards aren't getting to the linebackers. Okay? That is key. Because understand, you can look at the numbers and you say, well, that guy only made 35 tackles as a defensive tackle. We need more linebackers. No, you don't. What it is his job is not to make all the tackles. His job is to occupy space, to stay in the quarterback's face, and keep the offensive line off the linebackers so the linebackers can see what's going on, survey the field, realize this is where the ball is going, and get there without having to scrape off somebody. That's why you focus in on that pass rush. Now, the other thing, safety. You need a safety who is a 5-tool guy, that he can play at the line of scrimmage and make tackles. When you get a Jared Goff running on 3rd down, he can cut down and knock the snot out of him. That when somebody comes across the middle, they are worried about their head being taken off because the guy hits that much. He comes and delivers the load. But is smart enough to know when I need to double this guy on the outside, that I am the final line of defense, that nobody is coming into my backyard, and I'm going to get the ball. And that's the 2 things that our defense did outstanding. Don't get me wrong. Our defense kept us in games where we could not win if they hadn't. But when we played against the Colts, when we played against the Rams, our defensive line got dominated. They threw them out of the way. They ran roughshod up us. And that's why you've got to get a big beast in the middle. That's why it's more important to get that guy than to go after Patrick Peterson as a cornerback. You don't want to have a quarterback. You don't want to have a quarterback have 4, 5, 6 seconds to throw the football. I don't care what D-backs you have back there. You want that guy to be sitting there looking and thinking, I don't want to get hit by that guy again. I don't want it to happen again. It hurts. It hurts. You want him to be thinking about that as the ball is being snapped. So that's why I believe in the defensive line. Randy Gregory. Damn. It bothers me, man. It bothers me. It kills me. To get that kind of opportunities, man. And to waste them. Damn. What I wouldn't give to have played in the NFL. God, that kills me. So if you're just tuning in, thanks everybody for joining in. I was going to do a formal live stream down in the man cave, and I came upstairs because I have to cook some. I got to actually make some lasagna, and I got to make shrimp and grits for a luncheon for tomorrow for United Way. And I'd come upstairs to try to make the sauce real quick. do some research for what Stephen Jones had to say, and then bam, Randy Gregory suspended by the NFL indefinitely, which means he's going to have to file for reinstatement, which means it's changing everything that we're doing in the draft, which means that now there's an urgency now to sign DeMarcus Lawrence. Sorry, I'm working. But they always tell me, don't quit your day job. And I need you guys to hold your ears for a second. Hold your ears. Just cut that little nib off so I don't hit my hip on it. And hold your ears for one more second again. Forgive me. Sorry. Like I said, I can't quit my day job. So again, if you are just tuning in, if you've been underneath the rock, Randy Gregory has been suspended by the NFL indefinitely. They didn't disclose exactly why, but we know Stephen A. Smith will be saying it tomorrow because he can't stay off the weed. Bring Gregory back? Well, the question will be is how that may be another year. It's going to probably be another year. But now the strategy has to start coming in because you now have to start looking at it and saying, okay, how are we going to fill our needs? Do we go ahead and try and pick up some more people in free agency to flip the bill because you don't have a number one draft pick that you can go out and get somebody who's going to be a starter right away? It's the one problem in my workshop. I don't have enough damn space. So now you got to start looking at it and saying, okay, how are we going to get all the pieces we need to make a run? And now you've got to use free agency. Without a doubt, you now have to use free agency more than you typically would. You don't have a number one pick. Your second round pick is almost a third round pick. You're going to have to use free agency. Stephen Jones, you're going to have to do something that you normally don't like to do, and that is spend some cash. Okay. All right. At least I got this much done. I can let this stuff sit. And I tell you what. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to kill this stream. I'm going to go get set up down in the man cave. New CBA. Oh, the CBA is going to be changed. That's also where there's a lot of unknowns with the CBA that's going to change. You may see a lot of teams that go through and try and take contracts and put them off into 2022, knowing that that year is going to be a different year. Are Garrett's guys potheads? You're done with Gregory? Uh, they're desperate, but they're not quite desperate enough for me to play defensive end. Dak needs a tight end. I agree, TGK. I agree with that. He needs a security blanket guy. If you got a security blanket guy, we would be in so much better shape because you need a guy that you can go ahead and just dump the ball off to. That security blanket like Jason Witten was, like Jay Novacek was. Blake Jarwin started to become that guy as the season went on, and I think part of the problem that we had last year more than anything else was we had so many different people playing. You get used to playing with one guy. This guy runs his route a little bit off, okay? So I need to lead him a little bit less. You know what I'm saying? You get that consistency where you get a repertoire. And right now, Dak and Amari Cooper have that. You could see that starting to develop with Michael Gallup as the season went on. And even with Blake Jarwin, because we really didn't have anybody. They didn't believe in Rico. Golf Swam was, hurt. So Dalton Schwartz was the guy. So, but we had a so-so. Oh, I agree. We had a so-so one. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with, Kellen Moore. He can't be any worse than Lanahan. I mean, honestly, he can't be. Why not develop our tight ends? Well, sometimes, here's the thing. Sometimes you ain't got that much to develop. Sometimes. Sometimes you just got to go get a playmaker. You can't always just go ahead and say, oh, let's develop a quarterback. He's got to have some talent, too. Now, there are some coaches that are better than others. You look at what Andy Reid does with quarterbacks versus, say, Jason Garrett and crew. Um, I need to. Okay, here, come on, you guys. I don't know if you guys know it, but I am constantly busy in life. I rarely ever stop. And I'm either working in my workshop, I'm working on Joe Boo's man cave, I don't watch that much TV, or I'm cooking. And right now, check this out. Bam. I got to make some lasagna. Look at this. Look at that sauce. Want to make sure it didn't burn. Okay, so as always, I'm busy as can be. So I'm going to get myself a pot of coffee, put a little shot of rum or two in it, and I'll be back down in the man cave and we'll discuss Stephen Jones. He had a lot to say. Wants to try and re-sign Cole Beasley, which is a good thing. If they can't re-sign Cole Beasley, he said you got to look at Allen Hurns, who should be ready by training camp. Basically, he's saying, listen, we're going to re-sign Zeke Elliott. No, you don't trade Zeke. Ah! 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 You don't trade Zeke. You look at Allen Hurns, if you can't sign Cole Beasley, don't cut him. Okay? So they're looking at trying to keep guys that have been integral parts of the team and guys that know the system. And I think that you're better off, if you can find a way to keep Cole Beasley without him costing you an arm and three legs, you keep Cole Beasley because of his experience. He's a good receiver. If you can keep him happy, he's not going to get any more balls than we got last year. We'll see what they work out. But see, understand, here's the thing. And this is why, let me turn this down a little bit more. Here's the thing. You want to sign them now because I'm going to tell you why. The price goes up. The price goes up. You should have signed DeMarcus Lawrence last year. Had we signed DeMarcus Lawrence last year, it might have been $17 million a year. Now it's going to be like 20, maybe 21 now that we got Randy Gregory problems. Same thing with Dak Prescott. You may pay him $27, $28 million right now, but when Jared Goff, when Russell Wilson, when Carson Wentz start getting their numbers, that's going to jump up into the 30s. So you're advantageous to go ahead and do these things now. And what you do is Guaranteed money. Backload the contracts. Create the room right now. And you can gun them later. You know what? No, I'm not a big Landon Collins guy. Landon Collins is great run stopping. Oh, he makes some lights out hits, but he is not that great in coverage, and he does not get the turnovers. Does not get the turnovers. So I'm not on board with paying him a boatload of money. I think here's my thought is this. Understand this is the deal when it comes to free agency. Okay? Free agency, you're not buying the guy. You are renting the guy for 2 years. Because after 2 years, they just cost too damn much, and you got to get rid of them. You can't keep them. Remember when the Giants had the $1 billion, or $250 million defense? They played great, oh my God, for 1 year. The next year, not so much, and then they had to start jettisoning the guys because they cost too much in their cap hell. So you get a Landon Collins who wants, 13, 14 million a year. I don't think he's that good. You get Earl Thomas, maybe he costs you 10 million a year, but you don't have to sign a long-term deal. And this is a guy who's going to be motivated to play. If you're Earl Thomas, you're now playing in front of your people in your state. That means everybody. We're having a Sunday cookout at AT&T for our game. Your kids are back where you grew up. You got a young team that has the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. You know that you don't have that much time left. You are going to do everything that you can to get another ring in front of your people in the team that you want to be at. Because if you do, after all these years that the Cowboys have been away from the Super Bowl, you become a legend now. You become Deion Sanders coming to the Dallas Cowboys and helping them win another one. You become Charles Haley, who came to the Cowboys to resurrect and take the mantle. It's about legacy now for Earl Thomas. It's about the Monday for Landon Collins. It's a big difference. Because understand this. I remember this clear because it was a year ago right now. Mario Davis, Ainsley Battles, cooked dinner for him here in this kitchen. NFL players sat down at that table, had great time, and I learned a lot because DeMario was drafted by the Jets. They traded him to Cleveland, and then he ended up going back to the Jets. And then he was basically a free agent. Didn't know if they were going to try and sign him to a nice contract or not. But understand, as nice as we think it is about being a football player, it's not that glamorous. You are on edge. Ainsley was talking about this guy that was literally brought on the team and kicked off the team 8 times in one season. It was so bad that one time they forgot to tell him that he was cut. He shows up for practice, sits down in his locker, goes to put his shoes on. It's like, my shoes don't fit anymore. What the hell? Another dude comes up and like, yo, man, what you doing in my locker? He looks up at the name tag and somebody else's name on it. Nobody told me. That's how it is in football. So most guys look at it and you'll notice, here's the key thing. When you hear a guy interviewed and they're talking about the team, they'll say, yeah, well, I'm here, this team. Do you ever say, this wife? Do you ever go home, hey, let me show you this wife? You know what happened to you if you went home and said, this wife? She'd kill you. Because you're not taking ownership. You're not saying that that's mine. It's not my wife. This is my wife. My wife. Right? They don't say my team. Because they look at it as, I'm an independent contractor here to get paid. So very rarely Do you have guys that live and die and have passion for one place? Earl Thomas has that passion for the Cowboys. And that passion will show up on the field. And that kind of passion is infectious. So, what passion does Landon Collins have? What's happening, Law? Law, I'm making some coffee because I feel like it's going to be a long night. I'm going to go down to the man cave. I'm going to set up for a real live stream here. I'm getting a big ass pot of coffee. I'm going to put some rum. I'm going to put some Kahlua in it. And I'm about to get drunk because of Randy Gregory. So, Law, if you'd like to join me, Skyping in, let me know so we can go ahead and talk about how this affects everything, okay? So, I'll wait. I'll wait and see if you respond. I'll wait. Still waiting. The dogs need to be let out. You'll jump in? Okay. Give me about 20 minutes and I'll be back on. Hold on. Hang on. Okay, I don't want this to be a Dak Prescott thing where the dogs get out and bite somebody. Hey! Don't you know I'm on live? No wonder. To put that in perspective, my wife's home, not that wife is home. So that's why they're going off. They're like, I'm not killing the dog. If I killed the dog, I'd get killed because that's my wife's dog and my son's dog. I don't have no dogs, okay? None. But anyway, let me get set up. We'll be back on. We got a lot to discuss because it's the Dallas Cowboys. So as always, thank you all. No, you don't blow up the team. No, we're okay. We're okay. Trust me, we're okay.